Hi, my name is Mia Coots and I go to Millis High School, and as part of my senior project, I'm creating videos for new soccer referees. And in this video, I'm going to talk about tips and pieces of advice I have for new incoming referees from my experience and from the experience of a few of my colleagues. I wanted to start off by saying that I've been a soccer referee for 6 years, but in no way does that mean I'm an expert on the topic. These are just pieces of advice that I've learned throughout my journey as a referee that I want to share with new referees to hopefully make the transition a little bit easier. My first piece of advice is to be confident. I know you've probably heard that a bunch of times before, and it's a lot easier said than done, but I do believe that having self-confidence is super important to finding success on the field as a referee. When you're able to make decisive calls and be confident in your decisions, then the stress is going to be alleviated a bunch, and you're going to find that a lot more players and coaches respect you and listen to your decisions. Although starting off as a referee can be really intimidating, it's important to remember that you were signed for that game for a reason, because your signer knew that you could referee that game. You went to the certification training, you went to the recertification training, you know the rules, you know how to be a referee. So it's really important that you're confident in your own abilities, because that will make refereeing way less stressful. And even if you do make a wrong call, you're the referee out there, you're the one in charge. So whether it's right or wrong, the call is going to be right because you're the referee and you're the one in charge of the game. Another big piece of advice I have is to not be afraid to make mistakes. I remember when I was a new referee, I was really intimidated and scared that all my calls were going to be wrong and that I was going to make a bunch of mistakes, and that's okay. You're not perfect, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to make wrong calls, and the important thing is just to realize that that's not a problem and that that's okay, and that you can learn from those mistakes instead of dwell on them. And just know that you're not the only one making mistakes. Parents make mistakes, the coaches are going to make mistakes during the game, the players make mistakes during the game. You're human, and it's important not to stress about the mistakes that you make. And even the best, most experienced referees make mistakes, even multiple mistakes a game. So it's important that you remember that mistakes are just an opportunity for you to learn and for you to grow as a referee. I can't tell you how many mistakes that I've made over the years. Each time I make a mistake, I try and figure out why I made that mistake, what made me make that decision, why it's the wrong decision, and what I can do for the next game to improve my skills as a referee. Another big piece of advice I have is something I learned from my dad, and it's that after every game, think of 3 things that you did well during that game. Whether it be something really big, like I think I handled player management really well, or I had really good positioning during that whole game. Or it could be something really small, like in the 5th minute of the second half, I made a really good offside call, or that foul in the corner of the field on that first half, I made a good call there. Something simple or something big like that, come up with 3 of those things, and then after that, come up with 1 thing you think that you could improve on. As well, that could be something really big, like I should have done better positioning, or I should have managed the coaches better. Or it could be something really small, like, oh, I need to improve on my blowing my whistle quicker, or I need to improve on handball calls. Anything like that. And then take that and try and learn from it. See, how can I improve on this? It can even be a question, like, oh, in this first half there was this handball, but I wasn't sure if it was actually handball. So after the game, go home and research that question, find the answer to that, or if it's not a question, find out how you can improve and then apply that to your next game. And so the next game, you're just focused on improving that one thing you think you didn't do so well in the previous game. This strategy of finding 3 things that I think I did well during a game and 1 thing I can improve on was really helpful for me, because starting out, after every game, I would always focus on the things I didn't do well, all the negative things, all the things I wish I did or I could have done, and it put me just in a really bad mindset. And so by thinking of 3 things that I think I did well, put me in a better mindset and reinforced my self-confidence as a referee. Additionally, as a referee, it can be really hard to just get better and improve. And so by only thinking of 1 thing after each game that you want to improve on and then applying that to your next game was really good for me, because sometimes after game I'd be like, oh, I really want to improve on my positioning and my foul calls and my player management. And those are really big things, and all of those can be really overwhelming to try and improve on for the next game. So by only taking maybe 1 of those things or small aspects of 1 of those things and applying it to my next game and trying to make that part better, I was slowly improving at a more reasonable pace that felt more comfortable and reassuring to me. Next piece of advice I would have is just to do as many games as possible. The more games you do, the more experience and knowledge you gain, which are vital in becoming a better referee. And it doesn't matter what game you do. It can be a low-level 7v7 game or AR for a 9v9 game. It doesn't matter. Each game you do comes with different situations and different interactions that you are able to learn from and then take that knowledge into the next game you have. So the more games you do, the more experience you gain, and the better referee you become. Additionally, the more games you do, the more confident you become in yourself and your decision making, which is super helpful in becoming more successful as a referee. The last piece of advice would just be to have fun. For me, I love refereeing. It's something that I look forward to doing every spring and fall season. And that's why I think it's so important for you to find something that you enjoy about refereeing, something that makes you want to keep doing it again and again and keep improving on your skills. Your refereeing is a unique job and a special opportunity, I think, for people to find something they enjoy. Even though refereeing is a job and there's lots of responsibility towards it, being able to have fun on the field out there as a referee, I think, is really valuable because that brings a little bit more purpose and a little bit more meaning to what you're doing, and it makes you seem like a more confident person out there as well. I also want you to hear from some other referees to get their input, their perspective, and what advice they have for new referees. So here's Anthony Coots. He's been refereeing for 4 years, and this is advice he has for you.
One tip for incoming referees that I have would to be have confidence in all your calls and make sure you always look confident. Because even if you're not 100% sure on the call, at least if you look confident, it makes it look like you know what you're doing. And just say confidence is key.
This is Doug Coots, and he has been refereeing for over 20 years, and this is advice that he has for you as a new referee.
So my general advice to new officials would be to make sure you're looking good. Your appearance, your uniform. Make sure you have a shirt that's looking good. It's tucked in. Your socks are up, and you're ready to go. Be on time. Be ready to go when you get there. I think a referee that looks good gives a good impression to all the players and the spectators that are there. So my advice would be to look good and make sure you're ready to go. I mean, it's fun, but it's a job. But if you're looking good, then the coaches and the players will appreciate that.
Additionally, as part of my senior project, I also gathered information from a survey from existing referees on advice they would have for new referees like yourself, and I wanted to share with you some of that advice. So first, I want to talk about what one person said, and it was, be confident in your decisions, don't put your flag up for offsides and then put it down because a parent or coach says something. Be confident in your decisions. And I definitely agree with that. Don't let coaches or parents or even players influence your decision. You're the referee, you took the proper training to know what to do as a referee. So your call is always going to be the right call, and you should never let anyone else influence that. Another piece of advice I got from the survey was, you're going to get some decisions wrong, and that's okay. It's all about adapting to the game, not being perfect. And I talked about this a lot previously in the video, that perfection is definitely not an expectation for you as a referee. Making mistakes is part of the journey, part of getting better, and so don't be afraid to make mistakes. Another piece of advice that I really like from this survey is, it's important to find the balance between being assertive and being approachable when dealing with coaches and players. I really like this piece of advice because sometimes as referees we feel like we have to be very assertive and firm all the time with players and coaches, and that's definitely not true. It's also important to create a comfortable environment between the coaches, players, and you so that there's an open line of communication and mutual respect on both ends. Finding the balance between being assertive and making sure players and coaches know that you're making the calls and you're in charge, and being approachable and creating a comfortable environment where there's respect between all of you is really important for the game to go smoothly, in my opinion. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope these tips and pieces of advice were helpful to you as you transition to becoming a new referee. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to leave my contact information in the comments, and you can contact me whenever you want. I want to wish you the best of luck in your new season as becoming a referee, and I know you can do it.